Hey out there, it's your girls, Kenya and Kyla, for more love in the kitchen.
And today we're going to be making our version of Chicken Alfredo.
Yummy. So we are going to start with 3 chicken breasts. Actually, this recipe calls for 2 chicken breasts, but I'm going to cook an additional one to save for later. So what I like to do is, we eat a lot of chicken breasts in this house, so I usually keep some chicken breast on in the refrigerator mostly every day or every other day. So I got up this morning and the pack of chicken that I had in the refrigerator, I went on and put the seasonings on it, which was Mrs. Dash. Basically that's it. I put some onions in here and I put some olive oil in here and some minced garlic just to give it as much flavor as possible ahead of time. So now my chicken is all ready for the cast iron skillet. So I'm just going to, olive oil please, my beautiful assistant, thank you. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into this cast iron pan. And I have the heat on medium high because I wanted to get a nice sear on one side when I put it in there. So let's just give that a minute to get back up to temperature. And I have a pot of water boiling for our whole wheat penne that we're going to use for this recipe. Of course, this recipe normally calls for fettuccine noodles, but we're trying to be a little healthier these days, so we're going to go for the whole wheat penne today. So I'm going to just salt that. Carla, won't you salt? Just put a couple of pinches of salt in the water for flavor. Maybe one more. And this is kosher salt. I like to use kosher salt or pink Himalaya salt. Try to stay away from just regular iodized salts. Okay, so the pan is steaming. So I like to dry my chicken off a bit. I don't like it to hit the pan super wet, and I'm not putting the onions in. I only put the onions in for some flavor. I'm gonna put that in. Get that sear going. And then once that gets going really nicely, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes on one side, and I'm gonna flip it over and then cover it and turn the heat down so that it can cook thoroughly all the way through. Okay, we're back. So our chicken is ready to be flipped. And you can see that one side now has a really nice sear on it. It has all of that delicious flavor. And Tyler's gonna turn that down to medium now and put the lid on it, Tyler. So we're gonna let that cook thoroughly till all of the pink is gone out of the chicken. Actually, you can even put it on 4. And our water is ready for the penne pasta. I'll get that going. So our chicken is ready. Had the lid on all that time. I'm going to take them out of the skillet and lay them on my cutting board so that I can make some nice slices for the dish. I'm going to move this in a second so you guys can see the nice sear it got on it. Our pasta is ready. You can see that. I'm just gonna drain that and be right back. Our chicken breasts are done. Let me show them. Nice sear on both sides actually. I flipped them because they were so thick, so I wanted to make sure that they were good. So I'm going to cut them into nice slices over here while Kyla starts to prepare the sauce.
So this is a 1/2 cup of butter.
This is
all in there.
This chicken is so juicy and tender. It's just, it's gonna melt in their mouths. This is something that I make because my family loves it. I'm personally not an Alfredo lover, so somehow I was able to perfect this dish without really eating it. I have tasted it and it is good. However, I'm not a white sauce person, so I prefer marinara.
I like Alfredo.
So the butter is melted for the sauce. Minced garlic. You can use fresh garlic cloves. This recipe calls for 3 garlic cloves, which is equivalent to 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. So I am adding minced garlic to the butter. Kyla's gonna give that a little stir. And we're gonna let that go for about 30 seconds, just until you can get that garlic going. You'll smell it. It smells so wonderful. Okay, let that go, get a little bit of aroma flowing. Okay, so now we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of flour to our sauce. And I'm going to give that a little seasoning. Put a little black pepper in there. It's about a teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon maybe. I usually just eyeball this kind of thing. Little salt, kosher salt. Don't want too much of that because the Parmesan cheese is going to be salty. Now, kind of grab the whisk from out of the utensil holder and whisk that around. Little chunks. You want your sauce to be whisked. After you put the flour in and the salt and pepper, and you want to just whisk all of that together. You don't want any chunks in there. You want it to be nice and smooth consistency. And we have that now. So we're going to let that just brown a little bit. We don't want it to have a doughy taste. So you want to let that cook for a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. Now that you let that go, the flour get a little bit of consistency to it. You want to add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. I need you to stir while you're whisking. Just all on the corners. So now we're gonna let that get nice and a little bubbly going on. And then we're gonna add some Parmesan cheese and we're gonna be ready to eat. Our sauce has come up to a nice bubble. It's nicely thickening. Now we need to just add the Parmesan cheese. It is 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And we're going to continue. Actually, I want to switch my whisk out for a spoon. Stir that in. Let that melt. Reduce the heat a little bit. See how nice and cheesy it has gotten? Of course, you could probably use more Parmesan if you like. I find that the 1/4 cup is plenty, and then we're gonna add some extra Parmesan on the top once we are ready to serve our plates. All right. So here's our finished product: the whole wheat penne pasta with the Alfredo sauce and the chicken breast. Kyla has already put hers together, and she is going to taste it for you. You like it?
It's good.
The whole wheat penne is doing the trick?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to our More Love in the Kitchen, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.